Welcome to the podcast for and about Colorado Springs. I'm your host, Brittany Felix, and every Monday through Friday, I'll be talking about a different aspect relating to the Springs, including upcoming events, restaurant reviews, local business spotlights, media coverage about the Springs, public works projects, local activities, answering your questions about the city, and much, much more. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any of the updates. And also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find links to all of those social media accounts at springspodcast.com/social media. The Colorado Springs podcast is proudly sponsored by Elevation Hydration. Elevation Hydration is the only hydration therapy clinic serving Colorado Springs, and they are dedicated to helping you elevate your life. They use intravenous vitamin therapy to help athletes needing a boost of energy or help recovering after a tough competition, people experiencing cold-like symptoms or dehydration from the flu, anyone needing to recover quickly from a rough night out. I'm looking at you, college kids. And just anyone wanting a healthy alternative to preventative care. They have a wide variety of hydration packages to help address whatever your needs are. They're conveniently located inside Lush Beauty Lounge at 812 Village Center Drive, and if you mention this podcast during your visit, you'll receive $10 off any hydration package. To learn more about Elevation Hydration or to schedule an appointment, visit springspodcast.com/hydrate. Welcome to episode 24 of the Colorado Springs podcast. It is Tasty Thursday, which means we're going to have another restaurant review today. And as I mentioned in last week's episode when I reviewed Jose Muldoon's, we absolutely love Mexican food. So unfortunately, this is going to be another Mexican restaurant today. I'm going to try and have something a little bit different for you next week, but we just cannot resist. So today I'm actually going to be talking about Monica's Taco Shop. And we did stop by the East Fillmore location because that's near where we live and we drive past it all the time. There is another location, but we have not been to that one. So all of this today is specific to the East Fillmore location. So overall, I'm going to have to say that we both really liked it. And in going through the reviews for Monica's Taco Shop, it seemed like people either love it or they hate it. And I can completely understand that, actually. I know when we first walked in and even kind of driving past the place, I was a bit hesitant to try it. It's definitely not a place to go to if you are super picky about how nice and presentable the restaurant is and the food. It's certainly not fancy. It's certainly not high quality, but it is good old-fashioned comfort Mexican food, which means yes, it's going to be greasy. Yes, you might feel like crap afterwards, but it's so good as you're indulging in it. So it is definitely a guilty pleasure type of food. It's not something I would recommend eating all the time, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it is super good every now and then when you're just really craving quick, really good, greasy Mexican food. And another great thing about it is that it is pretty cheap. I actually had 2 chicken enchiladas, and these are not small enchiladas by any means. I mean, it was so much more food than I can consume because it also came with rice and beans, and all of that whole meal together, which took up an entire, typical to-go styrofoam container, was $7, which is kind of insane, I think. And Brian actually had the breakfast burritos, which he freaking loved. He loves those freaking burritos. I have to hear about it all the time, actually. And I think they were like $4 a piece, and they were a really good size. He's, pretty tall, pretty well-built, strong guy. He has a healthy appetite, and it was a decent amount of food for him. So again, kind of running through the reviews and why I say it seems to be a place that you either love or hate. On Yelp, it actually has 90 reviews and 4 stars, which is great, but the people that have written negative reviews, they are scathing, and the people who love the place say that they go every week and have for years. So again, you're kind of on one end of the spectrum or the other, it seems like. And on Google, they've got 121 reviews and 4.2 stars. And again, these are both just specific to the East Fillmore location. We actually did not eat in the restaurant. We ordered it to go, and I was perfectly okay with that. I would much rather eat at home, especially since we live so close. But the young woman working the counter was very nice, very pleasant. The food was fairly quick, considering there were people in line before we got there. The place is not anything special to look at by any means. And when we were there, there was actually a homeless gentleman in the restaurant soliciting people for drinks and things like that. But that could just be a rare occurrence. I don't know if that's something they allow all the time. The weather was particularly awful on the day that we went, so they might have just been being nice and, letting the gentleman take respite for a little while and have some shelter. But again, that's just kind of the atmosphere of the place. So if you are, like I said, picky about where you like to go and where you like to get your food from, I would not recommend Monica's Taco Shop, at least not the East Fillmore location, obviously. But if you're a little bit more adventuresome, if you don't particularly care about that kind of stuff, you just want good food, then, give it a shot. I don't really have any pictures of the dishes. I mean, it wasn't really anything special. It was just, like I said, sloppy, greasy, delicious Mexican food thrown into a styrofoam container. But I will have links to the listing on Yelp so that you can see some of those images in the show notes for this episode on my website. And I'll also have the phone number and the address as well in case you want to stop in or call and verify the hours. Google does have it listed at 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And you can find those show notes at springspodcast.com/024. And again, those are the actual numbers, 024. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for today. And tomorrow I have an episode that I'm really excited to bring you. I hinted at it last week, actually, an event that we were doing last Friday with a local business here. That is not something that I have seen done anywhere else in the other states that I have lived in. Not to say it's not being done, it's just not quite as well known. And it was super fun, and I cannot wait to talk about it. So make sure that you come back tomorrow to find out exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic day.